What the hell is this? I'm finally starting to grow fond of this frugal bed and room. No matter how filthy a room is, just having a place to live is so much better than nothing. The sun wasn't rising outside. It was settling. It was setting. Club Primavera is a nighttime place of business. Even bodyguards like me are bound to sleep during the day and stay awake all night. I washed my face, looking down at the bustling street below as neon lights began to flick on. Even now, it's hard to believe this is my hometown. Come to think of it, I haven't seen much of the city at daytime lately. I can almost imagine this Tokyo to be a city of endless night, the ground glittering with the neon signs that are our stars. Well, maybe it isn't so bad this way. It wasn't as though my daily life as a Primavera bodyguard was an endless string of troubles. My jobs were mostly driving people places or doing work behind the scenes. Didn't usually have to make drunken, unruly guests leave the club. A boring job, but I got a place to live and money for my trouble. In this day and age, the heavens might as well strike you down for complaining about a deal like this. The big, powerful tree of the 23rd city. Don't know what that means, but it's a thing. Good morning, Leo. It's not morning, sweetheart. Good morning to you, miss. See, you're as lovely as ever. Oh, I mean, technically, it's past midnight. The people who live in the night evening might as well be morning. We say good morning when we should be saying good evening. That day, I was serving as an escort. Rose and Richard climbed in the car I was driving. Our destination was the headquarters of the occupying forces in City 23, the very heart of the city. Rose was there as a madam, and as the Primavera woman's mediator. Richard is in charge of finances and business dealings behind the scenes. In other words, I was driving the Primavera bigwigs to an executive meeting. Leo, heard all about it. Seems you played quite a bit Lord Troll the other day. Oh, that's right, Leo is so strong. If only we had 10 more men as fierce as you, and all employable at low wages. Richard! What have you been doing, Leo? Have you had any trouble lately? Well, I have been eating Western-style food all the time. If only there was a good udon restaurant around here somewhere. Japanese food isn't particularly popular these days. You see food stands selling it now and then, but as for a restaurant? Oh, I long for the good old smell of soy sauce. In that case, I'll see if I can find a place like that when I get the chance. Glad to hear it. Please let me know if you do find something. Oh, that's right, Rose. Has there been any trouble at the club since the last incident? Thanks to everyone's help, we haven't had any more ruffians stopping by. Well, their boss is in the hospital. And after all, you must have landed at a lucky angle. However, this peace won't last forever. We need to make our next move soon. Apparently, part of this next move involved the person we were going to meet. Since our destination was the occupying forces headquarters, I had a pretty good idea of what the plan was. Guess there's nothing to lose by sucking up to the people in charge. I prefer the saying, if you're looking for shade, find it under the biggest tree. Oh, that's why. The car stopped in front of the occupying forces headquarters. Some American MPs started yelling at us in English, apparently telling us not to park here. Almost as though they were scolding a child who had wet his bed. This is Japan, isn't it? Yell at us in Japanese. You mustn't say things like that. They'll probably guess what you're saying. Richard lowered his window and explained something to them in fluent English. As soon as he did so, the behavior of the MPs changed, and they started talking like normal, relaxed people. How sad. Unless you can speak English, you aren't even treated as a civilized person. Okay, I'll be back soon. Rose got out of the car. Richard also got out for a second, then moved up into the passenger seat. You know, in the past, we employed quite a few bodyguards. I heard Alfred's group managed to scare them off one by one. When people are employed on the cheap, it's easy to get them to leave with cheap bribes and threats. And yet, we'd never be able to get by if we paid them all high wages. Are the occupying forces reliable? That depends on how much money you have. Protecting Club Primavera from the swarm of flies around it was a task too big to be comfortably left to the bodyguards alone. I mean, the most likely thing is that they're just going to offer him, like, free chicks, right? Like, that's just, generally speaking, the guys at the top and the guys doing that would probably be okay with that. I don't think they'd necessarily want money in this case. If they could gain the support of the occupying forces, that would be incredibly reassuring. What's our target? The man locally responsible for City 23's Department of Public Order. He comes by the club every now and then. There he is. That's Captain Philip Butler. Richard got out of the car and opened the door to the rear seats. Apparently, he was talking about the young officer walking down the government building steps with Rose. Captain Butler, thank you so much for offering to spare some time out of your busy... Ha! So, as if you didn't know how much time I spent sitting around on my ass. Wow, I wonder what you look like. His Japanese was flawless. His face also made it clear that he had some Japanese blood in his veins. Captain Butler, allow me to introduce you. This is our new driver, Leo Shishigami. Pleased to meet you. The pleasure's mine. I'm Philip Butler. The captain is Japanese on his mother's side. His Japanese is really good too. My grandmother always used to dote on me. I can even sing some Japanese folk songs if you like. Said something at the end there. Richard, let's go. I've been told to take them into a high-class restaurant near Club Primavera. They're probably going to share a meal there while offering the captain a few gold-colored treats. The fucking moaning back then. All of the higher-ups are bastards. They don't have a clue about anything. The whole time Butler had been letting out pent-up discontent for his everyday work. Sure enough, Rose was the lady of the evening. She did a good job of listening intently to everything he said, nodding and urging him to continue. And in the end, every one of them doesn't give a damn about anything but numbers. The number of crimes recorded, the number of those that went unresolved. Fair numbers like those is the only thing they care about. Thanks to that, they only care about the numbers on paper. People working from here don't want to hear about unnecessary work. But that way, the actual standard of living for the people who live here will be protected, but only for Americans who have the right to vote in presidential elections. The American government protects American residents, and the Chinese government protects Chinese residents. The Japanese government, which is supposed to be protecting the Japanese, is following. Well, they're basically telling you to take care of yourselves. Butler said it in a careless sort of way, but you could hear a faint trace of self-scorn in his voice. It looked as though he wanted to carry out his duty, but he hadn't lost any respect for his superiors who wouldn't let him do his job. We arrived at the restaurant. It was an expensive place with a glowing neon lobster. Ah, lobster. My favorite. Every kind of food is your favorite, Captain. Hey, that's not true. You mean anything I get to eat with a cute girl. Thank you. Butler took Rose's arms and went into the restaurant in high spirits. This feels terrible. She's mine. Great job. You can go back to the club now. I hope the meeting goes well for you. Leave that to me. Dealing with money matters is my profession. Richard took an attaché case out of the car trunk. He probably had stacks of bills in it or something. Leo watched him leave, then went back to the car. Okay then, gotta give it my all again today. Dancing's great. You get men and women locked together and sweating. This place exists only for that superb purpose. Interesting. Backshad. Harem of cute girls and good drink. It's paradise on earth. Escorting cute girls is your job. If watching their backs was also a guard's job, that'd be even better. That sounds like my calling. God damn it. Leo-san. You're looking as pretty as ever, miss. How are you doing today? Oh, you flatter me too much, Leo. Never too much for your beauty. So, did you have some work for me, miss? Actually, I wanted you to help me with a little errand. The club had the drinks, food, ingredients, and the consumables they needed delivered on a regular basis by the businessmen they had contracted with. However, depending on the number of customers, they sometimes had to make an emergency run out. So we need someone to go out and buy things pretty often. I'll show you where the store is this time, and I'll ask you to go out and buy stuff next time. Ah, so that's it. Understood, miss. After all, the girls have the vital job of entertaining the guests. I guess menial tasks like going out shopping are perfect for us mere bodyguards, with all the free time we have on our hands. Also, thank you so much for what you did the other day. It makes me shiver just thinking about what would have happened if you and others hadn't shown up. How could I not save a cute girl from a tight spot? Rose, that is. I'm very grateful. You really are a kind, considerate kid. That's the only thing I can do well. Claudia was wearing a carefree smile. A wholehearted, honest smile that didn't fit a lady of the evening. Leo, do you have a dream? Can't say, but I do like the sound of those words. I do have a dream. I've had it ever since I was a child. And what's that? I've always wanted to open a restaurant. Ah. Ever since I was little, when I used to play house. Have you been saving up money for it? That's right. I've been spending a little, doing the best I can save up money. You really are dedicated. I always thought ladies of the evening were more for living in the moment. Of course there are some girls like that. But there's also a lot of girls with a dream, who are working really hard to make it a reality. If it weren't for times we live in, maybe you wouldn't have become part of Primavera at all. I like the club for what it is. I've gotten to meet all kinds of people and I've learned a lot. And the money's good too. That's the most important part. So what sort of restaurant are you going to start? I want to start a restaurant that serves Japanese cooking and sake to all kinds of people, no matter what country they come from. I just hope that foreign people can enjoy our country's culture, even if only a little. Sounds like a wonderful dream. By the way, will the menu have udon and soba on it? Of course. Do you like noodles, Leo? Truth is, I got nothing but noodle flowing through these veins, miss. You're so funny, Leo. I'll be cheering you on. Good luck getting your restaurant as soon as possible. And so, whenever you have a day off, please drop by the club and pick me up. How enterprising of you. Club 2. Someone other than her. Hey! Leo, could you clear up these glasses for me? Yes. Hey, Leo, would you take out the trash for us? I'd be happy to, ladies. This is fine by me. Menial chores were pretty much the only thing I could do around the club, despite being a bodyguard. Still, it's nice to be kept busy. If I just stood around doing nothing all the time, my engine would probably stall. As I was doing these chores, I went behind the counter and the row of bottles caught my eye. See, you can tell the class of people by looking at their bottles. It's one good sake after another. Nice lineup. You know something about drinks? Meryl, who had just seen off one of the regular customers, came over. She was always a popular one among the big drinkers, thanks to her own capacity for alcohol. For once, she actually had a break in her work, and she came over to talk to me. What do you mean? What do I know about drinks? I like to think I know a bit, but what do I really know? Same with drinks, same with women, or something like that. Hey, make something for me. Sure, if you have a request. How about something to match the impression you had when you first saw me? Doesn't matter there. Women always put men to the test whenever they get the chance. Come to think of it, I don't think I've given you a proper introduction. You're Meryl Tanashi. That's about all I know. And about all I know about you is your name, Leo Shishigami. And we'd better start getting to know each other better. Interesting. You came from the battlefront, didn't you? Where'd you fight? In a country from the south, to the south. Do you finish off a whole bunch of enemies? About how many? I'd be happy to tell you if you fill me in on how many men you've slept with. That'd be 0. I'm an eternal maiden after all. Well then, Miss Maiden, allow me to apologize for my imprudent question. Apology accepted. She was good at keeping up a conversation. I could see why the hard drinkers treated her as their princess. The gap between her behavior and her childish looks makes her even more interesting to men. Sure. Childish looks? That's a thing, I guess. Sorry to keep you waiting, miss. Here you go. Oh, whatever. A drink. Beautiful. Have you worked as a bartender before? I've got a westernized feel for it. When I was young, I was always hanging around places like this. So this is your first impression of me? Layer upon layer of hidden, beautifully colorful, true feelings. Something like that? Those are the times we live in. No one could get through them sober. Thanks to the disaster and the war, I've lost all my family and relatives. Same here. When I get back, there was no one left. Got back. I had to drink to get by, but I did get by, thanks to my drinking. That's your strength. Thank you. So, that's why I think of my new friends as family. I won't let anyone get away with hurting them, no matter who tries. Contrary to appearances, you're quite the big sister, aren't you? Yeah, the girls here all think of me as a big sister. You're part of my family too, okay? If you're ever in trouble, you can always count on me. It's a comfort to hear. I'll be counting on you. And of course, you'd better save me when I'm in trouble. Got it? We're family after all. I'll always save a cute girl in a pinch, whether they're family or not. Yeah, it's beautiful. Did you make this, Leo? Oh, incredible. Make me one, please. Go get him to make one for you two girls. Leo, let's see your first impression of all these girls. How could I turn down a request from my lovely little sisters? I'll give it my best. Lewd. I can't lewd my sisters. Stop it. Oh. They're not sisters. Of course, this club was a service business. You couldn't have your employees, even bodyguards, smoking tobacco right in front of the guests. When I asked whether there was a place to smoke, I could go smoke. I was told that using the storehouse would be fine. The alley behind the club was dimly lit and not exactly clean. However, men are strange beings, and a place like this can actually make them feel all the more peaceful sometimes. What's that sound? Someone fighting? When I opened the door of the warehouse, I heard the sound of something metal creaking, along with the sound of a leather bag getting hit. Close the door. You'll break my focus. Wayne, so this is where you were. I was wondering why I hadn't seen you around. Don't talk to me. You're breaking my focus. Okay, kid. Wayne started to hit the sandbag, as though making a show of ignoring me. However, his concentration seemed to have been broken, and he stopped quickly. You're another one who's come back from the war, aren't you? Pretty much. You killed enemy after enemy on the battlefield and came back alive, right? Not everyone who goes to the battlefront is a killer, right? Don't try to dodge the issue. A man with skills like yours must have his hands dirtied with blood. Not at all. I wash my hands in my mouth every night. Listen to me, Leo. I need to make something clear. It's true that I never went to the battlefield. I've never even been baptized in artillery fire. However, I've been at the point of death many times myself and always skated by. If you ever underestimate me for not fighting in the war, I'll kill you. Why should I? You're a man I respect as my senior at this job. Then, that's good. Stop being cool. That's an interesting drill you're doing there, practicing your elbow strikes. Wayne had his back to the sandbag and was repeatedly striking behind himself with his elbow. This was clearly an exercise for an attack aimed at an opponent behind him. The other day, during the whole Alfred thing, I followed after Rose and got surrounded and captured by those thugs in the bar. They're all pointing guns at you, right? Nothing you could do about that. No, it was such a cramped place. They should have been too afraid of shooting their own to actually pull the trigger. But then they grabbed me from behind and tied me up while I was struggling. If only I'd quickly taken care of the guy behind me, they could never have captured me. I see. So that's why you've been practicing elbow thrust behind you. When there's someone right on your back, you've got maybe 3 counters you can pull off quickly. Sounds like you got it all thought out. Let's hear it. First, there's the elbow strike behind you. Then there's the heel strike, and a headbutt can be a pretty strong counter too. Not bad, and it's even more important to maneuver so that they can't get behind you in the first place. Come to think of it, didn't your dad run a dojo or something? Sure. It's true that you're strong, I have to admit it. But even you wouldn't be able to counter it if someone suddenly grabbed you from behind, right? Doubt. True, it's tough when it happens all of a sudden. In your pretty dojo routines, they probably only taught you how to fight people head on. Yeah, okay. I survived in the rat's turf, using nothing but fighting instincts. Okay, kid. Just watch, and next time something like that happens to me, I won't fail like I did last time. Keep it up, kid. I'm sure you'll handle it fine next time around. Leo crumpled his cigarette and left the room. But as he did, Wayne suddenly grabbed him from behind. Flip him. Hey now. If someone did this, how'd you deal with it? That insane strength you're so proud of and your dojo techniques can't help you when you're being held from behind, right? You just launch him in front of you. To Wayne, it seemed to happen in an instant. Because you can duck down, have him roll over top of you. Just as he seemed to notice Leo's upper arm sway, he suddenly spun around and found himself held in place. If you're interested, just give a yell. I'm a good teacher, even for guys. Shut up! I do things my way. Disappear! Keep it up, kid. Damn it! Look, you're not cool, kid, okay? I'm cool. Leo, get a car ready. Sure thing. Which lady shall I be escorting? Me. Take me over to the dance hall in Newton, please. Newtown. I've got a party to be at tonight with a handsome gentleman. Normally I would drive her, but Stella asked for you. Glad to hear it. Better go collect my generous tip. I'm the one getting the tip? Normal customers would come into the club, but we would sometimes take the girls out to meet VIP patrons. The person who had called for Stella to come to the dance hall must have been one of those. Who's your customer today? An American businessman. He's a handsome, middle-aged man and a good tipper. You speak English, don't you? Speaking English or Chinese is a requirement for a competent lady of the evening. See, in these days, everyone with money is a foreigner. How sad. There are rich Japanese people, too. However, people like that aren't in Tokyo anymore. These days, Tokyo itself is a foreign country. But it has a common language, money and women. Before the war, it was always with the men who got pampered. It's all flipped around now. True. Now, if a man can't speak anything but Japanese, he can't be anything more than a simple laborer. Women are different. No matter what sort of dilemma or strange lane they're forced into, they can always scrape by. Doesn't mean it's the nicest way to scrape by. So, long live the era of women. That's what I think. This is Japan's punishment for its culture of male supremacy. That's harsh. I'm hoping to make money like crazy, catch myself as a handsome gentleman at just the right time, and retire successfully. I've been feeling so tired these days, my calves feel heavy. The back of my shoulders are sore too. Hey Leo, you wouldn't happen to be good at shiatsu, would you? If it's for you, I'm an expert. I'll have to ask you one of these days. So heavy, my poor calves. As she said this, she stretched out her beautiful legs in a slovenly manner and put them up on the passenger seat. Stop! It was so full of holes compared to the bewitching yet virtuous way she acted at the club. So, why did you become a lady of the evening? The money's good. Do I need another reason? Richard's your big brother, right? I heard you call him that once. Oh, I'm surprised you noticed. Yeah, he's my brother. He's a moneylender. He's also in charge of managing Primavera's funds and watching her safe. In other words, he's not in the position where he'd be short of money. So why did you choose your nighttime occupation? Because I didn't want to be dependent on anyone, I guess. At first, even my brother was always telling me to stop this job. But it wasn't any of his business. After all, the era of women has finally come. The era where we were forced to rely on men completely is gone. You're a woman with an independent spirit. Yes, that's right. I have no desire to be the kind of woman who can only live thanks to a man's support. And what about now? I'm the one giving support to men. I gently soothe their half-crushed pride for them. In exchange for a fee. Of course. For a short while, I show them a fabulous heaven for a fabulous fee. Sexy line like that sort of goes to waste when you're sitting that way. Oh darn, that's almost at the dance hall. I'd better mind my manners. Stella drew back her legs that had been stretched out gracelessly, and regained her ladylike composure. I'm saying I like that better, but that's how you attract me better. Our destination was coming into view. The neon lights of the dance hall gleamed out at us. What to do? With the stack of offered bills in front of him, Butler clasped his hands behind his head and scratched. Is the amount not to your liking? Well, no, that's not it. It's just, well, you might say it's a matter of feeling. What do you mean? Personally, I've taken a real liking to the Club Primavera. Thank you very much. I love you, Rose, and Stella, and Meryl, too. After all, it's such a large and lovely booby harem over there. Wah! And perhaps that itself is the reason. I wish I could always stay a usual customer. Still, I understand your point of view, Rose. It's a club filled with all women. I understand you can't wait until after something bad happens before taking action. But you're the only one who we can rely on, Captain Butler. We'd like your support, so that the girls at our club can work in peace. What to do? Butler stretched once more before rising to his feet. Would you mind calling for a taxi? Captain? You went to all the trouble of bringing this money here. It'd be a waste if I didn't accept it. I mustn't let you lose face, Rose. I'm not the kind of man who would toss the money back in your face. Does that mean? However, I hate to say it, but I can't give you a favorable answer right away. It's because I'm seriously considering the impact of backing Primavera that I can't give an immediate answer. Of course, we are fully aware of the risk this would imply for you, Captain. That's it exactly. Risk versus return. And a man's pride, along with endless love for lovely ladies. Sorry, but until I can calculate that and sort that all out, I'd like to have some time. We hope for a favorable reply. Don't make a face like that. I'm just asking for a bit of time. A taxi arrived in front of the restaurant. Butler got in while Rose and Richard saw him off. Captain, thank you very much for today. It's pretty nice to have a dinner like this every now and then. But next time, I'd prefer the two of us alone. You can ask me out in a massive, sexy limo. If that's what you'd like, Captain, I'm just kidding you. Just can't help but tease you, Rose. Oh, well, Captain. Later, Rose. I'll be waiting for you in your dreams again tonight. Kidding. Night. Butler's taxi vanished off into the distance. As soon as it went out of sight, the two of them felt the tension slide out of their bodies. I do hope the captain agrees. He's probably realized that he'll get more money by holding out on us for a little bit longer. Richard, the captain isn't that kind of person. In any event, it felt as though he might change his mind for a greater sum of money. But are you sure? Today's amount was sizable enough. If something bad happens, money won't do us any good. We'll only be able to buy him safely before something happens. I am the madam. Protecting everyone is my responsibility. Money used to determine the merit of a thing carries weight. It's not the sort of money to be blown away by the wind. I don't think our money will be wasted. We might need more money to make the captain agree. In any event, we've thrown our dice. Now let us wait for the captain's answer. If he comes to the club, we'd better give him lots of extra service. Oh, I thought that was already going to be a thing. Just before dawn, I got a call telling me to pick them up at the Lobster Restaurant. How was it, miss? Did it go well? I'm not sure yet. We're waiting for an answer. Take Rose to the club. My office is nearby, so I'll go on foot. Thanks for your help today, Richard. Perhaps we should both put words like that on hold until the captain agrees to our proposal. As the car started moving, Rose let out a long sigh. Just looking at her gave me a pretty good idea of how their dinner meeting had gone. Must be a tough job, being the madam. It is tough. I've got work to do. I've got to work much harder to protect everyone. Why do you become the madam? Huh? I was just wondering why such a gentle, honest girl would choose to become a leader of ladies of the evening. I see your point. Normally someone like Mara or Stella, no, someone like Amanda. Who's Amanda? Would be much better suited for the job of madam. Who's Amanda? But you know, the world of women is more complicated than it appears. You mean it's got lots of ties? Oh, something like that. But I did become the madam. That's why I've got to do all I can to let everyone at Primavera live in peace. I've got to do so much more. You never stop giving it your all, do you? I'm always the one getting saved by everyone else. Even though I'm supposed to be saving them, I'm always getting saved. Rose's words were cut off. The strings of tension had probably released her, letting her sink into sleep. In the rearview mirror, he could see her breathing in her sleep, her eyes closed. So she is admirable, or devoted. It's probably the emotion that separates young people from old guys. I was young once myself. However, when the war ended, there was nothing left inside me except an irresponsible, indifferent, old guy. I left my formerly young shell behind in that country far to the south. We were all so determined, so single-minded, so obedient and so straightforward. And that's what betrayed me.